I mean, Andros, we've known each other a long time. I remember meeting you right at the start of your career, and and met up with you at various stages. And you're still going strong. 33 years old, still doing it. Did you ever think you would last this long?
It's always been the plan, the way I look after myself, it's always been the plan to play until mid to late 30s. But when you get a serious injury like I did when I was 30, I got done an ACL, missed 14, 15 months. I did wonder if it would happen again. There were times where I couldn't get out of bed. There were times where I didn't want to get out of bed. But like you say, I'm back playing now. I'm fit, I'm healthy, and touch wood, I can keep going for as long as my body will allow me to.
Yeah, that must have been really difficult for you. The fact that not wanting to get out of
Yeah.
bed even. I mean, just go into a little bit more into that if you could. I mean, your mindset must have been all over the shop.
Yeah, it's tough, especially like I just got a big move to Everton, who at the time were a lot higher up in the table than they were now. And 6 months into it, to do your ACL and miss 18 months of a 2-year contract was tough for me. And I was always looking to, can I get back? Can I get back? And then when the setback comes, it will knock me even more. So it was an extremely tough time for me. But yeah, I got through it. I got over it. I got healthy. I got fit. I had to, this time last year, I had to trial at various places. Thankfully, as the season started, Luton needed someone of my experience and where I played on the pitch, and they gave me a chance, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that was, you were without a club, weren't you? How difficult was that little period? I mean, obviously the Burnley stuff was well
Yeah,
documented. Did you feel like your career might be over at that point, even?
I generally did. So when my contract ran up at Everton, hand on my heart, I thought, right, my career at the top level in the Premier League is probably over, but there'll be teams in Europe or overseas in other continents who will be desperate for someone like me. That turned out not to be the case. Nobody wants a player in their 30s who they haven't seen play for 14 months. So yeah, I couldn't get a club for love nor money. Decided pre-season I was going to go and train at Burnley. Obviously, it's well documented what happened there. That did really knock me. And yeah, if it wasn't for Luton in, I think, end of September, I'd probably had to retire. There was no club willing to take that risk on me. So yeah, I'm so thankful to, I say it to them all the time, I'm so thankful to Rob, Gary, Sweet, and the club for giving me that second opportunity that I wasn't going to get.
Yes. One thing I will say about last season, you seem to really enjoy it as well. I know, obviously, no one likes to get relegated, but actually, you played with a smile on your face.
Yeah, we did. I think on the outside, it was like, oh, didn't Luton do well? They came in, they competed with the big boys. They went down, but they went down fighting. But for me, and I know other people in the dressing room, we felt like we had enough to stay up. We should have stayed up. We got ourselves into a position just after Christmas where we beat Brighton 4-0. We went to St James's Park, drew 4-4, should have won that game. And we really thought that not only stay up, that we could really push higher up the table. Injuries hit, and we didn't have the depth to deal with that. And that ultimately was our undoing. But I'm definitely motivated to get there again. I know everyone else in the dressing room, the manager's certainly motivated to get us up there again. So yeah, we're looking forward to what's going to be a very tough, hectic season. But hopefully we've had a taste now, or Luton have had a taste now of the Premier League, and hopefully we can get back there again.
I was gutted by the Liverpool one because I told everyone it was going to be a 1-0 win. And then they nabbed that very late equaliser. And of course, the Arsenal one went absolute ding dong.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, was it just sort of game management, or, what was it, do you think?
I don't know, but you look back at last season, there were so many times where we scored in the last minutes and we had that never say die attitude. But yeah, like it seemed to be the big ones. Spurs away, we had so many injuries. I was playing right wing back and we went ahead and we conceded in the 88th minute to lose. You mentioned the Liverpool one, Arsenal, last kick of the game, lost 4-3. So many of those ones against the big clubs went against us, and ultimately, if you're going to stay in the division, you can't really concede that many goals late on. And yeah, I think in the end we were relegated by 6 points, but really, the last game it was 3 points basically, and a goal that didn't go in one of those last minutes could have been the difference.
You did score a nice win against Newcastle, though, I seem to remember. That must give you a little bit of satisfaction.
It did, and when I was injured for 14, 15 months, I was dreaming about my first goal back. Not once was it ever a header at the far post. That is not something that I've ever been known for, or I don't think I've ever done in my career. So, yeah, to score a header to get Luton 3 points at home, and I think it was a emotional day, that one as well, because I think it was just after what happened with Locke. So, yeah, it was very special to help my side to 3 points.
The first time we ever spoke, you just scored in a Europa League game in Ireland, Ireland,
Shamrock, yeah.
That was it. and we spoke to each other that evening. Obviously, you were very young then. So now we fast forward to 2024. How different is the Andros Townsend of today to then, would you say?
Honestly, night and day. Night and day. Like that guy there, he was explosive, he was quick, had so much ability, but probably didn't have the temperament, didn't have the maturity, didn't listen to coaches, always knew best. That's still the case, but I'm just 15 years older now. But no, I'm more mature. I do the defensive side of it as well. That's probably why I'm in the team at times. I can press high up the pitch and I can help the team out defensively as well as what I can do going forward. So honestly, that 20-year-old that you met in Ireland is a completely different person. It's not the same person.
I know I always rib you on this, but have you learned how to make a cup of tea yet? I
I
remember
haven't.
once
Yeah,
showing you how to make
yeah,
one.
I remember that. I don't drink tea, so
I
no, I
know.
still don't know how to make a cup of tea.
Oh no! So is that was something that your mum used to do? Was it?
I've never drunk tea. I've never seen the point of it. So yeah, I've never learned.
Now, on a serious note, at 33, I mean, do you sort of feel like you've got a lot more still to give?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I've always looked after my body. So I knew that the way I looked after myself, I could go late into the 30s. And I think since the injury now, I've probably gone so far the other side where like everything, like even now, like I'm barefoot to, it's called grounding and it helps your recovery. The electrons in the grass helps your
Oh,
body
really?
recover. So yeah, I've gone so far down a rabbit hole that I am sort of trying to play as long as possible, even with the serious injury which threatened to ruin my career.
Of course, the club's been relegated into the Championship. I mean, was that something you were happy to do? You're happy to drop down into the Championship? I mean, obviously you've played in that level before. You've played, in fact, all the
Yeah.
levels, haven't you?
No, of course, nobody wants to play in the Championship. Nobody's happy to play in the Championship. But listen, I signed a 2.5-year deal last January. I generally thought we'd stay up. We had more than enough to stay up, and just like everyone else, we got relegated, and now we need to help this club get back to where I feel they are good enough to be. I wouldn't say they belong, but I feel like they are good enough to be. And yeah, I've not played in the Championship since I was 21, 12 years ago, and even at 21, it was tough physically. So many games, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge of taking my body somewhere that it probably hasn't been in many a year in terms of the sheer amount of games.
I think two of my most favourite recent promotions was the Brentford one. I thought that was a great story, and of course Luton, for where they'd been. Obviously, the club have got into the Premier League. They've been relegated this season. What are the expectations, do you think? I mean, we know this is a tough division to get out of.
I think it's tough. The expectations, of course, is to get promoted. I think it's tough, not technically. I think mentally, it's going to be tough because you go from playing at Old Trafford to Anfield, the Spurs Stadium, Emirates, and all the top stadiums to maybe not so glamorous stadiums. It's tough mentally. Can you go there on a Tuesday or Wednesday night and it's cold, and can you grind out a performance when the opposition's kicking it long and they're trying to frustrate you? Yeah, it's something we never faced last season, so it's another. It's going to be a tough one to get through. But I know with the manager's been banging on about the mentality of the squad and the senior players we've got here. Hopefully we've got enough to get through that difficult period and really showcase what we can do, which I feel like at times we did last season.
I know how much you love football. Regardless of your age, are you prepared to sort of, we're not talking about that now, but would you just keep playing, whatever the level, until physically it was impossible or not?
Probably not whatever the level. I want to play until my body can't go anymore, but as far as dropping down the leagues, yeah, I don't think that's something I'd look to do. I'd probably go overseas and finish my career there if it came to it. But yeah, I'm looking to play until my body tells me it can't go any longer, and hopefully that is half a decade away, or give or take a few years.
Hope so. Rob Edwards obviously had a fantastic job here, got the club promoted straight away, and actually Addy kept the club up. I think he should have been manager of the season, really. Just tell us a little bit about him and how he operates, what's he like as a man manager, and what's he like around the place, really.
No, he's brilliant. First and foremost, the way he's got us playing, brave, front-footed, go into, you mentioned the Liverpool and the Arsenal game, go into the top sides in Europe and having no fear and going them, attacking them, pressing them high up the pitch and looking to play as well. But on a Monday to Friday, he's always talking. He's always talking to players, always trying to learn, always try to impart his wisdom on the players on the training pitch today, even though it's a pre-season friendly on Saturday, just going through the details on how he wants his teams to play. And making sure the new players know the philosophy. So yeah, no, I'm so grateful for him on a personal level for what he's done for me, but for what he's done for the club as well has been incredible.
I know you've dabbled in the media and done my sort of job. Well, not sort of my job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been on the radio and stuff. Does coaching appeal to you, though? Is that something that you want to get into, or you're even actively doing that now?
No, it is. I'm currently doing my A licence
Mm.
with the Welsh FA, so that's definitely something that I'm passionate about. But I think with coaching, you have to be fortunate. You have to land in the right job as you retire. I think the longer you stay retired, people forget about you. The game moves on. There's a new batch of people retiring. So yeah, I'm going to do my coaching badges, but you have to be lucky. That's why I have the media stuff as well. I've experience in the media. If the coaching stuff doesn't work out like I plan to,
You say the Welsh FA. Why was the Welsh FA? How did that opportunity come?
I think it was just after lockdown. I think the English FA they had quite a backlog, and the Welsh FA were brilliant. They were very accommodating, and a lot of the top managers have gone to the Welsh FA. I think of Mikel Arteta most recently,
Yeah.
Patrick Vieira. There's a lot of people going down to the Welsh FA, and I've really enjoyed it. They've got a way of playing. They've got a philosophy from the grassroots right up into the first team. So it's been an eye-opening experience to undertake that and see a different way of playing.
Andros, I mean, can I ask you to reflect on your career to date? I mean, obviously you've done a lot. What would you say are the highest moments that were for you? What have you enjoyed the most, and what's been the most disappointing parts of it for you?
The highest moments, of course, playing for my boyhood club Spurs. Not many people can do that. Playing for England, scored on my debut, helping the club get to World Cup 2014. The goal against City, massive highlight, and making a comeback when at Luton, when a lot of people in and out of the game wrote me off. That's definitely a highlight. Low light, probably be the big one that sticks in my mind is doing my ACL at Everton, leaving Spurs under a bit of a cloud, being injured for World Cup 2014 in Brazil,
Yeah.
2016 making the 26-man squad and being one of the 3 players to get cut when I was probably in the form of my career at Newcastle. So, but each of those lowlights have made me stronger and made me a better player and a better person to come back stronger. So yeah, I value each of those bad moments as much as the good moments.
I felt you never let England down. You always performed well for England. In fact, I think you played some of your best football for England. You must be very proud of what you achieved, really, for the Three Lions.
100%. I was never, growing up, I was never really a prodigy, somebody who was predicted to play 300 games in the Premier League or 10 plus games for England. So yeah, to do that, to play 13 times for my country, score 3 goals to help them qualify for Brazil in 2014, play a big part in that, was just stuff dreams are made of, is incredible, and it's something I'll always look back on with immense pride. I've got the caps in my house in pride of place. I've got pictures up in my house. So yeah, it was an incredible moment to look back on.
Did you enjoy the Euros? I mean, obviously we're all disappointed we lost the finals, but incredible tournament, really. And of course, you know a few of the lads. I mean, did you enjoy watching it? And what did you think of our performances in general?
Yeah, I was fortunate. I did some co-commentary work with ITV for the Euro, so I went out there for a week. Didn't do any England games, but managed to watch the England games. I thought we were good. I think people tend not to give the opposition credit these days, whereas these teams now are incredible. Everyone's as fit as the top dogs now. Everyone's more tactically aware. Everyone can play in a low block. So we saw time and time again, not only with England but with the other top nations, they struggled to break down these sides, and we were no different. But what we managed to do is we managed to get to a final. We found a way to get to a final, and ultimately we were beaten by a superior side, and we weren't badly beaten. It was when we equalised, I thought we were the better side. We were going on to, there's only one side to go on and win it, but we lost 2-1 to the best side in the world, and there's no shame in that. Yes, the boys will be disappointed, but there's certainly no disgrace in losing to a final, a tight final.
Now, obviously, Gareth stepped down. You played for Gareth. What are your memories playing for Gareth, and was he good for you?
Yes, no, I have to be honest. When he got the job, I did fear, how is he going to manage the big names? He's come from Middlesbrough and then the under-21s. Can he handle the big names? But I was in his first 2 squads and he handled it perfectly. Disciplined players when they needed disciplining, which probably made everyone sit up and take notice. And what Gareth has done is he's taken sort of an England squad which was like a business-like meet-up to a family. He really did bring everyone together in terms of the like a lot of meetings, a lot of team building exercises, a lot of games in and around the camp. So boys come and they're not like, it's not like a business trip. It's, I'm going away with my family, and what he's brought, that he's brought like a family unit, and in the end they're produced on the pitch because they're tighter from it. So yeah, people look at Gareth now as like, oh, what did he do? What did he win? But what he's done is he's given England the platform to get to 2 finals, a semi-final, and they're now set up to win tournaments. When before Gareth got the job, we were absolutely miles off it. So no, he's done an absolutely incredible job, and I hope in time he gets the credit that he deserves for what he did for England.
Do you feel it was the right time for him to go? And leading on from that, what sort of manager has got to step into that role now, do you think?
I think it was probably the right time for him. I think once you start getting plastic cups thrown at you after games, it's probably the right time to go. He did an incredible job. He took the team to, like I said, 2 finals, and definitely not in my lifetime have we got anywhere near 2 finals, even with probably a more talented generation beforehand. So no, it's probably the right time for him to go. And like I said, I hope now he gets the appreciation that he deserves for his job. What manager can take over? It's the impossible job. It's the impossible job. I don't think anyone, you look at a Jurgen Klopp or a Pep Guardiola, well, they want to put their reputation at risk when even getting to a final is not good enough. I'd like to see a young manager, a young up-and-coming manager, not Rob, because we want him here, but maybe like a Graham Potter. I think I played against his Brighton sides. I know he didn't have the greatest of spells at Chelsea, but his Brighton sides were some of the toughest games I've faced when I was at Crystal Palace. So I'd like to see him get the job and continue the good work that he was doing at Brighton with the most talented players in the country.
Talking about managers, you played for a few. Out of all of them, who were the most enjoyable ones to play for?
I probably didn't appreciate it at the time, but I always say, looking back, Pochettino was a game changer. Everything that we see now, everything the clubs are doing now, in terms of the way of playing and the way they approach things, Pochettino was doing that back in 2014, 2015, and because I was 21, 22, I thought I knew better. I didn't listen to him, whereas now I'm doing everything now that he wanted me to do back then. So he really was a game changer and a trailblazer for what we see now on a week-to-week basis.
The Andros now would have behaved totally different, wouldn't you, if you were with him in that moment?
100%. I would have listened to every word he said. I would have soaked it up. And it's funny because when I left, I was put in the 21s. I was sort of outcasted. And then I remember like a year later, I was doing everything he wanted to do. And I remember he asked one of the Spurs players at the time if I would go back, if I was interested in going back. So it was a crazy full circle, whereas I was sort of forced out because I wasn't listening to what he wanted to do, to a year later naturally doing everything he wanted to do, and he's interested in getting me back.
What were the things that you weren't doing then that he was
Yeah.
getting a bit cheesed off?
So basically, I was an out-and-out winger. I wanted chalk on my boots. I wanted to get the ball and take everyone on and take a shot, whereas he was saying, I want you to play inside. I want you to play inside as a sort of a number 10. So when you get the ball, you're closer to goal. We can get the fullback overlapping high up the pitch. Out of possession, I want you to press. I want you to sprint back. Everything that you see now, which is normal, for me back then wasn't normal. I wasn't comfortable playing in pockets when I was so quick. I was so direct. I was a 1v1 specialist. I wanted to be on the touchline, not inside, whereas football was evolved, and at that time I didn't evolve with it quick enough.
Just finally on the Tottenham theme, Ange Ball, are you a big fan of it?
Yes, very big fan of it. Again, when he got the job, I'm looking at it thinking, oh, it's a different prospect playing in Scotland to playing in the Premier League. But wow, he's got them going. And again, when I was without a club at the start of last season, I covered a lot of Tottenham games, and I was extremely impressed with how quick they went from playing one style of football to completely flipping it and playing modern football. No disrespect to what they had before. So yeah, now he's had a full season with them. He's had a pre-season. He's started to get their own players. I'm sure we'll see Ange Ball go up another level again, and hopefully now I'm an outsider, not in the Premier League, we can see them really challenge the top sides.
I've got to ask you, hopefully retirement's a long way off yet, but when you do retire, what would you have liked to have achieved in these final years?
I'd love to win something, anything, to go my whole career without winning anything would be, it would be tough. Even though I've had a top career, I've played for some great clubs and for my country, just not have that feeling of lifting something up at the end of the season. Yeah, that would get to me. No matter what level it was, or what division, or what trophy it was, I'd just love to win one thing.